What's the most fricked up relationship advice post you've seen on Reddit? One guy asked if he was the butthole for not bothering to help his wife when she fainted. He found her unconscious on the floor, but left her alone because she seemed fine. One that is fricked up in a light-hearted way. I think it was on our Tifu. A guy was convinced that his wife was cheating on him because she would go out randomly late at night. So one night he followed her and confronted her in the parking lot of the Waffle House that she had gone to. It turned out that she had a phobia of pooping when he might hear it, and for the duration of their marriage had been leaving the house to poop out of fear of him hearing her. That's hilarious and sad. It's just body functions. I thought the story was going to end she was going out to have secret snacks at Waffle House. I haven't been able to find it again, but I'm haunted by this relationship post by a woman who pranked her husband. He was a vet with severe PTSD, and she thought it would be a good idea to dress up in all black with a ski mask and hide in their shower. She jumped out at him, and he ended up beating her into hospitalization as he screamed wife's name. Run. There's someone in the house. She wanted to know how she could save a relationship where her traumatized husband now had to live with the fact he hospitalized his wife. The wife was afraid of her husband, and the wife's family thought the husband was a pose. Poor dude. Really poor. No one will believe him. He is scared for life, and he just wanted to save his and her life. Fricked up. Teen's mom confessed on her deathbed that they were illegitimate. Teen was torn about what to do and went to Reddit to ask whether they should tell their dad the truth. They were encouraged to come clean. They did. Dad got pee and kicked Teen out of the house. Last update was not good. Teen was considering suicide. That's awful. Probably the post from the girl that was complaining about her boyfriend's crappy underwear due to him not wiping properly because putting anything in his butt would make him gay. That one poor girl who was being emotionally manipulated by her boyfriend husband, who kept saying she stunk. Every day he would say she stinks. She was going mental, taking multiple showers a day and wearing deodorant and perfumes, and even seeing her doctor because she thought she may have a medical condition if she stunk so much. After years I think of this going on and driving her insane, she snapped at him asking him why he would stay with her if she stunk so much, and she broke down about it. He apologized and came out saying his dad told him the best way to make a woman stay with you is to tell her she stinks all the time so that she wouldn't be confident in being with any other guy or some crap. Saddest thing I've ever read. I hope she broke up with him. If I remember correctly, she did in an update. The girl whose BF was secretly feeding her slugs and it was making her ill. One of the most fricked up things I've ever read. Yeah, that's the most fricked up thing I've ever read on Reddit. Eating a slug isn't just gross or unhygienic. It can literally kill you or leave you permanently paralyzed. Putting them in someone's food is nothing short of attempted murder. The post where a father discovered through one of his daughter's DNA ancestry test that she wasn't his child. He then did paternity tests for his other 3 daughters, excluding the youngest, and found out none of them were his either. Where the age range between the oldest and youngest daughter were big, since Op had been with his wife since they were in high school. When he approached her about it, she initially brushed him off until him and all of the children confronted her, where she only just cried and apologized but didn't say anything else. She never explained anything to him, and weeks passed by without the couple saying anything to each other. Op came home one day to find his wife had killed herself. He never got any explanation, and all 5 daughters lost their mother. That was last update he posted. There was a post on our Amazon that haunts me to this day. The OP was a pregnant woman whose husband became seemingly obsessed with the idea that she would not survive the birth, when her doctors had indicated nothing but a normal, healthy pregnancy. Husband's father, who had raised husband as a single parent, joined in on the obsession. Husband and Phil started to act like it was a given that OP would die during the birth and began to pressure her into spending all her time preparing for her death, like forcing her to pack up all her belongings so they wouldn't have to do it after she passed. It continued to escalate to the point where they were basically berating her for being selfish and not thinking of the child. Her actual question was whether she would be the butthole to keep her Phil out of the delivery room. The behavior of the 2 men was so creepy that a bunch of commenters, myself included, were convinced husband and or Phil would try to murder or hurt her, on some twisted logic that husband should raise the child as a single dad like Phil had done. OP never posted an update or responded to comments. And I think she might have deleted the post too. It was hands down one of the most disturbing things I've read on Reddit. I've never been so worried for a total stranger before. I remember she even stated in the post that when she mentioned to her Phil husband she might survive the birth, her Phil brushed it off like no, not happening. He was also saying no epidural and little medical interventionist conditions to her giving birth. It freaked me out. Bruh, does anyone remember that one post I think on R8 where the wife discovered that the husband was keeping several women's driver's licenses and he said that the women gave them to him and the wife automatically jumped to cheating instead of I don't know, serial killer vibes? The dude who I think recently had moved in with GF starts noticing his gym socks supply dwindling and dwindling. Don't remember how he discovered it, but apparently girlfriend was stealing them and using them to wipe her butt after taking a crap and then throwing them away. Why? I haven't seen it yet, but the gist of it was this woman's husband came out as gay and in love with another man after she had gotten pregnant. Then the two men became very involved in a negative way. The boyfriend wanted say in the baby's name, room, life, etc. Many people in the comments seem to think that he got her pregnant on purpose so that he and his boyfriend could have baby. Very weird. Very sad if true. It was a long time ago, but this woman found out her husband basically stalked for 3 years. He paid off PPL to date her and dump her to make her confidence go low enough so he can date her. The poor lady said she didn't have money and was solely living in his income. He told her everything when he was super drunk. I was so scared for her. I was scrolling the comments for this one. The creepiest thing is she found out because he convinced his brother to do the same thing and it worked for him too. My personal favorite is about the guy who wanted to help his wife explore her scat fetish. They agree to try having him crap on her, but she breaks the rules and tries to eat straight from the ring. He gets upset and immediately says, how can I go to the zoo with her family tomorrow? My GF and I say to each other all the time that something we do is going to ruin the zoo. Please help us find this post. OMG, I don't know this one, but there's another you gotta see, lem, go find it, lol. This dude's wife became convinced she was pregnant, despite all medical scans saying otherwise. Got real hostile and defensive when people tried to prove her wrong. Turns out she had some sort of severe psychosis after a traumatic miscarriage, and had joined a Facebook group of women who were all suffering from similar delusions. They called it a phantom pregnancy or something like that. It was real sad. The husband thankfully didn't listen to the comments telling him to divorce her crazy butt and managed to get her proper treatment, and last I heard her condition was improving. The cryptic pregnancy groups were wild a few years ago, not on FB to see if they're still active. Seeing the posts from these people, so desperate for children that they believe they're 3 years 2 months pregnant, really broke my heart. There was one recently where a father refused to go to his blind toddler's birthday because he hadn't earned it. Frick that guy. There was a tiff where a guy borrowed his sister-in-law's phone or something and found a naughty video on it. When his wife was out of the house, he put on a VR headset and earbuds and started jerking off to it. His wife came home early and found him. He made a Tifu post about it and people in the thread were encouraging him to try and go for a threesome with his wife and her sister. His wife found his Reddit account, gave away all his gold to people who weren't creeps, and divorced him. I think the same person posted it and off my chest, because I remember seeing something like this. What was the one with the girl who was afraid of offending her boyfriend because every time he cooked dinner it'd make her sick? But not him, he'd be fine. Then later she was looking under the sink and found a jar of slugs. Then Reddit was panicking that the boyfriend was trying to kill her or make her seriously ill. Anyone have a follow up? Yes, someone in this thread posted the link, with the update. There was one I only saw screenshots of, but the gist is OP thought his GF was cheating when she said she was having a girls' night in, so he hides in her closet for several hours to catch her in the act. GF really was just having girlfriends over, and as OP is feeling stupid, he gets caught and has to explain to his GF and all her friends why he's there. GF kicks him out and only contacts him to say when he can come pick up his stuff when her dad and brother will be there as well. OP is asking for advice on how to fix things and proposes showing up earlier to the meeting to smooth things over. Comments tell him that that is a terrible idea. There's no salvaging the relationship, and that he's lucky she's not pushing for a restraining order, so just get his stuff and stop bothering her. You forgot the part where he admits to peeing in bottles in the closet for the near 24 hours he was hiding. I have two. 1. The one where she was pregnant, in her 3rd year of medical school, doing most of the household chores, and her husband was mad that she was studying for a major test instead of making him dinner. 2. The one where this guy knocked up his GF in college, refused any kind of responsibility, signed away his rights the second he was presented with papers, and 10 years later was married to a different woman and had accidentally been sterilized, I can't remember how, and refused to adopt or conceive via sperm donation cause he didn't feel comfortable raising another man's child, remembered the kid he had 10 years ago, calls up his ex and says that he wants the kid now. She says heck no. He says he'll sue. She says good luck and hangs up. Then he's surprised when everyone, including his best friend, calls him and butt for essentially acting like his first kid had been kept in storage this whole time, and for expecting his wife to raise someone else's child when he isn't willing to do the same. OP doesn't take his girlfriend on dates very often because she's an amazing cook. She can recreate recipes, knows exactly what she's tasting, and just knows what a recipe is missing to make it perfect. He's surprised that she's been getting upset over the lack of dates going out for dinner. He posts to Ater, gets reamed out, and decides to apologize and propose to his girlfriend. She declines the proposal because of the one-sided relationship, and Arp's surprised and thought things weren't that bad. Bedbug story is a classic. OP was having memory blackouts and waking up with what she thought were needle marks in her legs. She was afraid her BF was drugging her. Someone in the comments told her she had red flags for bedbugs. Turns out, she had a bedbug infestation and an allergy that caused her to severely react to the bites. The other one was a guy asking how to help his girlfriend. She'd basically turned into a robot, but sometimes he'd catch her by herself sobbing in the middle of the night when she thought he was sleeping. He updated some time later that she killed herself. That was a pretty devastating story to hear about. There was this post about a guy whose girlfriend had a private space in the upstairs of their home that he never saw and wasn't allowed to go into by his wife, and recently a weird smell started coming from there and comments started speculating that she's cooking M or other types of drugs kinda like Heisenberg I guess, and they wanted Op to not be Skylar. A guy whose girlfriend had a private space in the upstairs of their home. I just read the post, and it turns out that her private space was actually the whole upstairs area. The guy had literally never been to the 2nd floor of his own home, which makes the whole situation even crazier. I saw one about a woman who was looking through her wardrobe and found her husband's notebook. Each page of it was filled up. On every page was the name of a woman, what she looked like, what their encounter was like, and he would even rate some of the women. These women would range from family members to random people like the cashier from Walmart. A psych made a comment saying this behavior was extremely alarming, and detailed a plan for her to safely confront him about what he was doing. A few days later, she deleted her account, and no one knows why, or what happened afterwards. A Phoenix cop got caught doing this, except it was with underage girls he came across during his job. Creepers. I don't know about Fricked Up, but I will always remember the post about the one guy with a cat girl girlfriend that would pee on his carpet if she was mad at him. Cat girl RP stops being sexy real quick once she whips out peeing on the floor. There was one where a woman's husband bought a really expensive necklace for their 16-year-old neighbor girl. I really wonder how that turned out. It's a bit more lighthearted, but this one sends me every time. The post has long since been deleted I'm pretty sure, but this chick's boyfriend binged the entirety of The Sopranos over the course of quarantine and got way too into it. Dude was basically just role-playing 24/7. Specifically, he kept using a horrible accent and would constantly make up vaguely Italian-sounding words like calling a shower the drippany, and she could not convince him to quit, not even in public. Diaper sniffing husband one is by far the worst. An awful one where the wife was getting suspicious of her husband's actions. Suspecting him to be cheating, she does a bit of digging and it turns out he's addicted to sniffing their child's diapers. Really messed up. Oh my god, that's disgusting. I wish I could find it again, but it was the one about the wife that had a husband that disappeared with sticks of butter into the bathroom. If anyone else knows, I still can't get over it. There were two and I'm pretty sure both were on relationship advice. 1. A girl found out her boyfriend makes a nest out old dirty clothes and sleeps in it at night. She was weirded out and got all offended and said he shouldn't have showed her his nest. 2. A pregnant woman went into her husband's shed, who I guess was a truck driver, and found a huge box of used women's underwear. She immediately thought he was cheating, but it was pretty unanimous in the comments that everyone thought he was a serial killer. She never updated. The one where the guy found out his son was one-eyeing off the family dog and then eventually told the wife who divorced him and tried to blame it on the husband. Colby 2012. The Iranian yogurt is not the issue often pops into my head in situations where it can be metaphorically applied, but is much too niche to actually say aloud. It was obviously a ruse to get more yogurt space has got to be my favorite line. One where a teenage boy had his mom take money off of him, so he got pee and went to hide in his friend's pool house. I'm assuming both were rich. Anyways, Redditors were all telling him to never talk to his mom again and that he should cut ties. I was in the comments like, hey, go home and talk it out with your mom. She's probably worried about you. Mayo. Then someone said I must be a mom because I was worried about her over the kid. Spoiler alert, I'm not. The girl who caught her boyfriend going into the bathroom with a stick of butter multiple times and it had be gone when he came out. Advice where boyfriend was abusive to girlfriend and GF's child was to cut his nuts off while he was sleeping to lower his testosterone levels. Excuse me, what? Someone said that women need to be shielded from men they are not dating other than family or they will cheat. They also said they should only have female doctors, nurses, dentists, etc. For that same reason, this is fked up. Reddit really is the worst place for relationship advice. I read one once that wasn't up for long. A girl who had been cleaning her husband's things and in the closet found 2 pairs of little boys' underwear. They didn't have kids. There were 2 pairs, each with a piece of paper with a 4-digit number. The commenters thought perhaps they were dates, and she did reply that he had left the house for some reason or another on those dates. The post got deleted. Never got an update. I think about that one often. OMG, I remember that one. I hope OP is safe. Many people were suggesting she do not confront him as it was dangerous. I hope she left and he is nowhere near children. There was one ATA where 2 close friends got accepted to university in different countries. The one got into a better one than the other and it was her dream school. So the other friend who didn't get into the same school hacked into the friend's email and replied no to the acceptance letter just so they could both go to the same school as the one who didn't want to be alone. That time a guy caught his wife cheating on him with the neighbor, asked Reddit for help, and they told him to divorce her. She stabbed the kids and herself. She killed the kids and stabbed herself. Link is further up in the replies. There was one I think on relationship advice where a boyfriend and girlfriend moved in together and he started misplacing and forgetting where his things were. He'd think his keys were on the counter but they weren't and she'd find them somewhere totally different saying he was forgetful. It started happening so much he got concerned until his friend pushed him to get cameras and he saw his girlfriend moving his stuff around the apartment. He confronted her. She said nothing and just moved out a couple of days later. So creepy, like she wanted him to think he was losing his mind. That's kinda the plot of the movie Gaslight, where the term gaslighting comes from. They move lamps and things to make the woman think she's crazy. Didn't see it on Reddit, but was the most common thing I ever heard growing up. Date someone that's the complete opposite of you because if you date someone like yourself you'll get bored and fight all the time. Worst and dumbest crap I've ever heard in my entire life. It was deleted quickly after, but I can't forget about the one by a manager who got his employee with Down syndrome pregnant and didn't know how to tell her parents. There was a relationship advice post where a girl with schizophrenia was convinced her boyfriend was waking her up by masturbating but he always, angrily, denied it. He started blaming it on her, up until this point controlled schizophrenia and was pushing her to having her medication dosage increased. She also had a suspicion that she was being drugged because she would wake up groggy and she found an empty pill container. Honestly, it could have been her schizophrenia or her boyfriend was a manipulative butthole, but OP never updated. Probably the one where the guy posted it on the fantasy football subreddit by accident, but that was more fricked up in the most hilarious way possible. That's the greatest mess of advice ever, Mayo. It's still top post of all time 4 years later. Just now, someone posted a note they found, handwritten by Trevor's grandma Alicia, asking for prayers for him as he was struggling with depression. Someone commented that she should just find him a girlfriend. Fuck off. The best and most effective form of respect is respect that is founded upon fear. Not said in this way of course, but literally said that the wife should fear you so that she could respect you. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.